Alright, guys, I know you've probably heard of the Hantavirus. It's the latest thing that they are pushing. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say pushing. I don't know if it's real or not. I know it's a real virus, but I don't know if it's being exaggerated, shall we say. But I read about it and I read that it's not even contagious. Like you can only catch it from rats. And then so say I was on a boat, yeah, and I caught it from a rat and you're with me. You're probably not gonna catch it from me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't go from human to human. So I don't really see how it's that worrying. Like because you can't catch it from people. I could be wrong. This could be mad misinformation. Obviously, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't really know. But I'm not super worried about it. But then again, I wasn't worried about COVID when COVID came. I never had a vaccine or nothing like that. So, yeah. Take everything I say with a pinch of salt because everybody's got to make their own opinions on these things. And these are just mine. So you make your own decisions. But let's see what this hantavirus is all about because I need to find out some more information. I don't really know too much. Let's go.
If you thought the coronavirus was bad, you ain't seen the hantavirus. The hantavirus is terrifying. Not again. I can't do another pandemic. I can't do another lockdown. But people, this virus is absolutely chilling. Okay, look. This is some background info about patient zero for the hantavirus, all right? Late in March 2026, a couple visits a landfill in Argentina to go bird watching. And they're apparently believed while they were there to have inhaled virin-laden dust from rodent droppings, and they end up boarding a ship.
Did the hantavirus outbreak start? Well, there's no definitive answer yet, but Argentine officials believe that one of the Dutch couple who were on the MV Hondius cruise ship and contracted the virus and died are likely to be patient zero. So what do we know about their travels before the cruise? Argentine officials have tried to reconstruct the couple's movements through South America, largely using border entry and exit records. The couple arrived in Argentina on the 27th of November last year and crossed into Chile by car on the 7th of January. They continued their journey for another 24 days, including a trip to the Argentine province of Neuquén. The Andes strain of hantavirus, which has been confirmed in some of the passengers, has been reported to circulate in these areas and in southern Chile. The couple then spent another 20 days traveling elsewhere in Argentina before crossing overland to Uruguay. Authorities in Chile and...
Alright, that's slightly more scary because I think there's obviously different strains of the virus and the Andes strain, or whatever it's called. Yeah, the Andes strain. I think that is the one that's contagious from human to human. I could be wrong though.
Strain of hantavirus, which has been confirmed in some of the passengers, has been reported to circulate in these areas and in southern Chile. The couple then spent another 20 days traveling elsewhere in Argentina before crossing overland to Uruguay. Authorities in Chile and Uruguay say the couple did not contract the virus in those countries, based on the World Health Organization's estimated incubation period of between 1 and 8 weeks. On the 27th of March, the couple returned to Argentina and headed to Ushuaia, which is where they boarded the MV Hondius cruise ship on the 1st of April. Some Argentinian officials think a passenger may have been affected at a landfill site on the outskirts of Ushuaia, which is popular for bird watching. But locals have dismissed this, as well as officials in the region, who say they have no record of hantavirus in their history, and the species of rodent that transmits the disease, called a long-tailed mouse, isn't found there. Many experts agree, but Argentina's government has announced it's sending experts to the city for further tests. But for now, without the Dutch couple to fill in the gaps and officials unable to fully reconstruct their travels, many questions about how this outbreak started remain unanswered.
So you got fools out here eating bats, starting the coronavirus allegedly.
Injured on council property.
Now they're
Did you
eating
know
fucking rat shit.
that you could claim thousands, even tens of thousands of pounds in compensation if you have been injured on council property?
So you got fools out here eating bats, starting the coronavirus allegedly, and now you got fools out here rolling around in Argentinian landfills bird watching, inhaling virus-laden dust from rodent droppings. Can we just stay out of the Argentinian landfills, people? Could we do that for the human race? Now, strangely enough, okay, an X post has been going around that allegedly predicted the hantavirus outbreak years ago. Now, I've been hearing about a hantavirus for a minute, okay, but I didn't know that it could be this bad. They're saying that patient zero was dropping dead. So this is the Snopes article that's kind of fact-checking this, right? It says, real 2022 tweet about Hantavirus fuels prediction rumor amid outbreak. Now, all you poly-market weirdos probably going crazy trying to predict the next pandemic, right? But let's not try and make money off of this one, okay? It says the account's bio claimed they were an astrologist who reads the future, but it's unclear if that was added before or after the post went viral. Corona ended 2023, 2026, Hantavirus. What the hell? That is actually scary. Okay, that is very, very, very scary. I don't like it. Right? And it says true. Even Snopes is saying this is true. They really predicted it. A few weeks after an outbreak of hantavirus occurred aboard a cruise ship, April 2026, an internet rumor emerged about a tweet published in 2022 accurately predicting such an outbreak would occur. The hantavirus, described by the Mayo Clinic as a rare infectious disease, is mainly transmitted to humans via rodent waste. Ugh, gross. The Associated Press reported that health officials tracking the shipboard outbreak were confident that there was no greater risk of an epidemic because the disease does not easily spread from person to person. But users on social media began sharing their discovery of the alleged 2022 tweet on May the 6th, 2026.
This is concerning, bro. Like, from what I said about it not being spread from person to person, I've got a really bad feeling they're gonna say that a new strain has like evolved and now it can go person to person super easily. If that happened, if there was a strain that jumped from person to person, then yeah, this shit would be scary. So let's fucking hope. Let's fucking hope that that hasn't happened. Listen, not another pandemic. Come on, bro. The fucking COVID, that fucked the whole world up, man. We can't do that again.
All it said was 2023 Corona ended, 2026 Hantavirus. This person only posted 4 times, all in a week in 2022. Their bio says reads the future. And the post said Corona ended 23, Hantavirus started 26. Good God. It's the only post like this, and Grok confirmed it hadn't been edited since 2022. Weird. So, given the ongoing coverage of the shipboard hantavirus emergency, which had been responsible for 3 deaths as of writing, the apparent prediction spread quickly. The tweet posted by I Am a Soothsayer on what was known as Twitter at the time is authentic, judging by all available evidence, so we've rated the claim it was posted in 2022 as true. As of writing, it's been reposted 143,000 times. Snopes tracked down a June 11th, 2022 archived record of the tweet on the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, confirming it's genuine and was posted publicly nearly 4 years before the hantavirus.
That's crazy. And you know what? It's not even like a prediction that you could just guess and would eventually come true. Like, you know, I could say, listen, it's gonna rain in 2026. I mean, yeah, that's a prediction, but it's obvious. I mean, of course it's gonna happen at some point. This is different. It's like a specific virus that's not common. So an uncommon virus saying it's gonna, basically, they didn't say it was gonna be a pandemic, but they mentioned it alongside a pandemic. So they're insinuating it's gonna be a pandemic. Which is insane, man. Which is so insane. Bro, I can't be bothered with it. I literally can't be bothered with it. Listen, man. I think if this virus does like explode and start spreading, I from what I've read, masks would actually work for this one, because it's about, saying that, I don't know how it works when it's spread person to person. I was thinking if you get it from smelling rat shit, then yeah, a mask will help. But if it's from spreading person to person, is a mask gonna help? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, what I was going to say is, they're probably going to say a mask will help because they don't want to give you no hope. So masks going to be selling like crazy. If I was any of you guys, I would buy some masks in bulk to resell. You know, but any PPE you can buy in bulk, I would do it. I ain't got money, bro. I got no money. I can't be buying masks and gloves and shit in bulk. I ain't got no cash for it. But if I had some cash laying around, I would invest in some fucking PPE in bulk so that I could resell it That's a scumbag move, isn't it? Reselling fucking safety equipment when shit's dangerous. But listen, man. It is what it is. This shit's gonna happen anyway. Apparently. You might as well try to make a quick buck. Sit back and enjoy.
Outbreak. To say the Post predicted a 2026 Hantavirus outbreak is a stretch, however. Sue's Sarah account consisted of only 4 public posts and 1 reply as of this writing, all posted in June 2022. The bio account describes it as an astrologist who reads the future. It is unknown whether the description was present before the Hantavirus post became popular. All right. It's not really a stretch, is it? Sounds like they predicted it. It's possible the user who owns the account updated the bio after the fact to make it appear as if they intentionally predicted the future. They were predicting the future, when it was much more likely the timing was a coincidence. Snopes made attempts to contact the owner of the account. Will update you if we...
How can it be a coincidence? He literally said it. It's not like... I don't see that as a coincidence. Listen, if I tell you, yeah, at the end of this video, there's going to be a picture of Bart Simpson. And then there's a picture at the end of this video of Bart Simpson. That's not a coincidence, is it? Because I literally said it was going to happen. So it's a prediction, not a coincidence. It's not even a prediction. What is that? It's just foreshadowing. It's kind of a prediction. In that example, it's not really a prediction because I would have known. Maybe this guy knows. Maybe this guy is part of it. Maybe he's some high up official. Jeez, maybe it's Jeffrey Epstein, boys. Maybe it's fucking Jeffrey Epstein. He was involved in COVID, remember? We see the documents. He was planning pandemics and shit, wasn't he? Apparently. Maybe that's Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe that's why no one's replying on the account, because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein can't reply. Let's carry on.
Get response, right? Another user theorized they could have made thousands of random predictions, then deleted the irrelevant posts, and after one prediction happened to come true, in an attempt to appear a legitimate
That's crazy to me, because it's such a random guess. It's the most random guess. Not only did he guess the year, but he guessed the virus. Like, how many other predictions would you have to make to get that one correct? I mean, he probably would have had to have posted 1,000. Surely, even if that's true, and he did post 1,000 predictions to try and get one right, wouldn't they all be on the Wayback Machine as well? Let's see what he says.
Gnosticator. We couldn't substantiate the theory, but regardless of the methodology or intent, it was real. All right, Snopes trying to talk down on our man. But no, all right, they did seem to predict this. That is actually very, very weird. So just to give you a little bit more backstory, okay, just about how all of this went down. So this is some more background info about the cruise ship, okay? It was I believe it was called the MV Hondius, which departed from Argentina with 147 passengers and crew. And by April the 6th, departed on the 1st, and by April the 6th, a 70-year-old Dutch man begins showing symptoms and later dies on board the ship.
The MV Hondius is what's called a polar-class ship. That means it's built to navigate the coldest climates and to be able to hit ice without breaking, which is handy when you're this far south. The Hondius left port on April 1st from Ushuaia, Argentina. Its first stop, South Georgia Island. It's about 5 straight days of sailing.
And the views were absolutely worth it, looking down over the bay, the colony, and the surrounding mountains. And yes, Gen 2 penguins actually climb up these hills.
That's Jake. He's a travel blogger. He's on board the Hondius, and I've used his social media posts to pinpoint where the ship was on roughly which days, because it's around this visit to South Georgia Island the first passenger started.
So they're saying, yeah, that they think that the elderly couple were in Argentina and they came into contact with the rat shit in a landfill. And I'm guessing that they've come up with that theory because that's the only one that kind of makes sense. because they were in the area at the time. But why are they counting out the fact that, I mean, rats are on board ships, right? I mean, it's a problem that people have had with sailing the oceans ever since we've been sailing the oceans. So they could have just picked up a rat from Argentina, and then there was a rat on the ship. Who knows, man? It's crazy, bro. Hopefully it doesn't blow out of proportion again like fucking COVID did, but we'll have to see.
To get sick. A 70-year-old from the Netherlands. To him, it might have felt like mild food poisoning or a bad case of the flu.
Fever, headache, muscle aches and pains. It's really, it's non-specific. You're not going to, if someone walked into a clinic with those symptoms, it could be a list of things longer than your arm.
According to a World Health Organization report, this man had fever, headache, and mild diarrhea. This was on April 6th, 2026, while on board the ship. But as the cruise continued, as the Hondius was approaching one of the most remote inhabited islands on the planet, Tristan da Cunha, the man's symptoms had grown much worse. By April 11th, the case developed respiratory distress and died on board on the same day. What the ship's sole working doctor on board would have been wondering was, how did this man's condition get so bad so quickly? And another question, who did this patient have contact with?
घर के किसी कोने को अगर न्यू लुक देना है तो उसके लिए ये सेल्फ एडहेसिव वॉलपेपर बहुत अच्छा ऑप्शन है। मैंने रिसेंटली ये टीमू से लिया है और इसकी क्वालिटी बहुत अच्छी है। मैंने यहाँ
Who did this patient have contact with?
That is very, very scary. Now, I've actually got a video here, which I believe is the captain of the ship actually.
So my man started getting sick on the 5th, and by the 11th he was dead. So that is scary, really. He had mild symptoms on the 5th, and by the 6th he was dead. Not the 6th, sorry, the 11th.
Actually announcing the death of the man on board.
This is my sad duty to inform you that one of our passengers sadly passed away last night. Tragic as it is, it was due to natural causes, we believe, and also whatever health issues he was struggling with, I'm told by the doctor, were not infectious. So the ship is safe when it comes to that.
Yeah, don't know if that's 100% accurate. Okay,
That's what I was
because
thinking. Of course they're gonna tell the people on the ship, don't worry, because what are they gonna do if a fucking ship? How many people is even on that ship? I can't remember the name of it. Well, I reckon it's got to be like 1,000 people, isn't it? It's got to be about 1,000 people, maybe.
After that announcement, the doctor that was treating that patient also begins to feel sick.
And this has been a couple of days ago now, right? And he was sick on the 5th, so that's 8 days ago. Has anyone else started getting sick yet? I suppose they said you could get it a week to 8 weeks before you show symptoms. Is that what they said at the beginning? I think they said that.
It sort of happened gradually. I knew one of the passengers was getting ill. This is at the end of April, and I just reached out and asked if I could assist the...
Brother, listen, this is the doctor of the ship, and he seems absolutely fine. Didn't he?
Make sure he felt he had adequate coverage, and I was told that the doctor was also sick. So over 12 to 24 hours, it became clear that there were a number of...
Big dog, I thought you were the doctor. I guess we can't see what the rest of that says. Maybe it says something crazy like he died or something. Hopefully not.
People sick and that they were getting sicker, and I sort of fell into the role of becoming the ship doctor.
I know you treated the ship's doctor and that he was eventually, you were telling us, actually evacuated off the ship, which left you caring for other patients as well. I mean, can you describe the sorts of symptoms that you've seen, doctor?
Well, there are 3 patients that seem to be getting ill around the same time. One of them, just very non-specific symptoms, a lot of confusion and a lot of weakness, and she ultimately passed away relatively quickly. The 2 other gentlemen, quite a bit younger, including the doc, just had a lot of standard viral symptoms, a lot of fever, fatigue, flushing, some GI issues, some shortness of breath. At the time, neither one of them looked critically ill, but the fear with hantavirus is you can go from seriously ill to critically ill very, very quickly.
You know, a woman yesterday who had survived.
It's scary, man. It's scary. So I'm going to give you some background on the hantavirus and how it spreads. So from what I understand, it's not as infectious as COVID, but it can kill you. So way more efficient.
So there's been an outbreak of hantavirus on a cruise ship.
Yeah, so it doesn't spread as easy as COVID does, but it's got a much more likely chance of fucking you up, which is crazy. I've just read that the UK, the people on the cruise ship from the UK that came back to the UK, they were in hospital for a couple of days. It says the passengers and crew will have spent 72 hours isolating at Arrow Park Hospital in Merseyside and will be expected to self-isolate for a further 42 days at home or in other accommodation. They include 20 British nationals, a German national who is a UK resident, and a Japanese passenger. I wonder why the Japanese passenger didn't go back to Japan. I wonder why they sent him to the UK. Because everybody else went back to their own countries. So I wonder why one Japanese passenger went to the UK. 10 other passengers from the UK overseas territories of St Helena and Ascension Island are being brought to the UK to complete their self-isolation as a precautionary measure, the UK Health Security Agency said. Officials said these people have been in contact with those affected by the outbreak and that none of them is currently symptomatic. The UK HSA said the relocation is of some contacts who are already isolating to places where they can safely self-isolate with access to appropriate specialist medical services. This is because England's NHS high-consequence infectious disease network is well equipped to respond if they become unwell. I don't know if I believe that. Currently, none of these contacts are symptomatic, and this is precautionary to support communities in the UK overseas territories. We'll set out where they will isolate in due course. All of the passengers of the hantavirus-stricken MV Hondius cruise ship have disembarked and left Tenerife earlier on Tuesday with flights to more than 20 countries and dozens in quarantine. A French woman became the latest to be confirmed as infected, while an American was suspected of infection after initial testing. Passengers began flying home aboard military and government planes on Sunday after the MV Hondius anchored in the Canary Islands. So the crazy thing about that is, it said it can be incubating in your system for 8 weeks, right? Which means you could have the virus and for 8 weeks you're not going to know about it. And these guys that have come back to the UK isolated in hospital for 72 hours. I mean, you can do the maths. It's not a great look, is it? Let's get into it.
Led to the death of some passengers. So what do we know about this virus?
What is hantavirus?
Well, hantavirus, it's named after a river in South Korea, and that word, hantavirus, really describes a sort of family of viruses. Around 20 viral species have been identified, according to the World Health Organization. It's not just one infection. It's really serious, but it's also relatively rare, and it's linked to exposure to rats and mice. The risk is typically highest when someone's doing something like, for example, cleaning out a building that's had a rodent infestation. So most of the human cases are reported in rural settings, such as forests, fields or farms, where rodents are present, and that means the opportunities for exposure are greatest.
Where could this outbreak have come from?
That's a really, really important question, and the answer is we don't yet know. All the cases are linked to this cruise ship, the MV Hondius, which set sail from the very southern tip of Argentina.
I mean, it doesn't really matter where it came from, does it? The fact is, it's here now. And, I mean, they're on a cruise ship. They could have picked up a rat from anywhere along their journey. Anywhere they stopped, they could have picked up a rat along their journey. And, yeah.
At the very beginning of April, but the first two fatalities, who were a Dutch couple, they're reported to have travelled through South America before boarding the ship. Now that's really important because it's possible that one or both of them came into contact with the virus during their travels. And one version of the virus, known as Andes virus, that's been identified as causing infection in humans in both Argentina and in Chile. So, for example, in late 2018, there was an Argentinian outbreak that was traced back to people who'd all gone to the same party. A single person with the virus led to 34 confirmed cases and 11 deaths.
Well, that's more contagious than I thought. If you can just catch it from one dude in a party.
Led to 34 confirmed cases and 11 deaths.
How does it spread? Is it airborne?
Yeah, it is slightly airborne, so it's transmitted actually
so
by...
it killed a third of the people that it infected, which is crazy.
Rodents, typically rats and mice, through their dried urine and the droppings, which are then blown into the air and inhaled. That's where it is slightly airborne. So mostly, yes, it is spread from rodents, but there have been these relatively rare cases of human-to-human transmission of this virus known as the Andes virus.
What are the symptoms?
Well, the virus can cause two really severe illnesses. The first is called Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, and it often starts with sort of flu-like symptoms, really. You can get fatigue, fever, muscle aches, then followed by headaches, dizziness, chills, upset stomachs. But then, this is where it starts to get very serious. You get respiratory symptoms develop. So, for example, breathlessness. And the mortality rate associated with this type of illness is around 38%. So more than a third of the people, according to the Centre for Disease Control in the United States, will die if they get that type of the virus. The second illness is called hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, and this is even more severe and primarily affects the kidneys. So later symptoms can include low blood pressure, internal bleeding, and also acute kidney failure. The mortality rate for this version is 50%, so half the people who get it are likely to die.
So this is serious, all right? This isn't COVID. This is a coin flip. You 50-50.
Bro. 50-50. Listen, I'm not that lucky, boys. I'm not that fucking lucky. 50-50. I don't like them odds.
You might die from this. It is terrifying. So more than 2 weeks after the first death, authorities would officially identify this, whatever this was, killing people, as hantavirus, and suddenly passengers on board the ship would be actually blocked from disembarking. Not so much for the captain announcing it was natural causes. Now suddenly you're being quarantined on a boat. It was like 2020 all over again.
It does.
And good evening. What began as a cruise of a lifetime, a weeks-long luxury journey to the edge of the Southern Ocean, has instead turned into a major medical mystery and an international crisis tonight. 3 people are dead, 4 more are ill, and nearly 150 others stranded on board the ship, where they will stay potentially for months until investigators can clear them to get off. For now, medical workers seen here boarding the ship in full protective gear are telling people to stay in their cabins as they zero in on a potential cause, a rare form of the hantavirus believed to have spread person to person on board the ship. Tom Hansen is tracking this story for us. Tom, good evening. So many questions. What are you learning?
Hey there, Tony. Good evening to you. Well, this cruise liner offered passengers a chance to stop at remote, untouched locations, regions where hantavirus is also common in the wildlife. And now the World Health Organization tells CBS News the infections could have possibly started during one of those nature excursions. Tonight, the 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms believed to be linked to the deadly hantavirus are expected to be airlifted off the MV Hondius. The Spanish government says the ship, with 147 passengers on board, could sail to the
How
nearby
many? I
to
said
the
a
deadly
thousand.
hantavirus are
I said 1,000. How dumb. What a dumb number to pick. Why did I think 1,000 people were going to fit on that boat? Did you say 100?
expected to be airlifted off the MV Hondius. The Spanish government says the ship, with 147 passengers on board, could sail to the nearby Canary Islands for a full disinfection.
There are no additional symptomatic people on board. That said, the situation is being closely monitored.
New video shows officials from the World Health Organization boarding the ship in PPE, there to monitor for any new cases. Communal spaces otherwise sit empty as passengers enter their 3rd night in quarantine. According to the company managing the cruise, so far 7 passengers have fallen ill. 3 of those passengers have died, and another was hospitalized in South Africa. All of them suspected of having the hantavirus.
Oh my god, that's literally a 50% ratio, bro. 7 people got it. 3 people died and 1's in hospital. That's 3.5. Fuck, that's literally 50%.
Another was hospitalized in South Africa. All of them suspected of having the hantavirus. Health officials believe the passengers were infected off the ship, which made several stops on islands up the South American coast. Symptoms can take up to a month to show up.
What we are
Up to a month to show up. Stop it.
I thought they said
Up
8
to
weeks.
a month to show up.
working assumption is that it is the Andes virus. It could not be, but we're assuming that it is until we determined otherwise.
The Andes.
Oh my God, man. What on earth? Okay. So look, all right. Now they're saying that hantavirus cases have now appeared in as many as 9 countries, right? Wait a minute. Why isn't this working? That's why.
That was 4 days ago.
That's why.
Come on, Ross.
9 countries.
Selma, this cruise ship is expected to dock in the Canary Islands this weekend. What exactly is going to happen?
This is a really complicated and sensitive operation to get these passengers off the boat safely, of course, while also keeping them in isolation. It's something that the Spanish authorities have continued to address. There is even protests on the Canary Islands against the boat docking, so you can understand just how sensitive of an issue it is. Now, Spanish authorities say they have an ironclad system in place. It's going to be a closed-circuit loop.
Brother, never believe when they say they've got an ironclad system in place. Nothing's perfect ever. It's scary that they even think like that. I mean, do your best, yeah, but you can't say that you've 100% got a safe system when there's like a pandemic level virus spreading and you don't really know how it's spreading.
There are medical facilities and medical personnel waiting to provide treatment to those who need it, waiting to provide any support that may be needed. They're going to have special entrances to enter those medical facilities that are specifically prepared for these passengers. They will all be seen, treated if they are needed to be treated. And then the other element to this, the part 2 of this, if you will, is repatriating those citizens to their individual countries. You have more than 20 different countries among more than 140 people. So Spanish authorities...
I can't lie. I mean, this obviously can't be done. But can we not just put these 150 people on their own island for a month? Like, just put them on an island for a month. Send them a fucking shipment of supplies. Airdrop some fucking shit. And just leave them there, bro. Leave them there for a month or 2. And then just pay them when the time's up. Just give them some money. Surely that will prevent all of this. Don't send them to like fucking 7 different countries. How is that a good idea, bro? How is that a good idea? You get 150 people on a petri dish in the middle of the ocean. Introduce a virus that can kill 50% of people it touches. And then you're like, yeah. I mean, You can carry this virus for a month without knowing you've got it. But it's been about 3 days, so you guys should be okay to go home. How is that an ironclad system?
Right now are speaking to each of these individual nations to figure out what their plans are for bringing their citizens home. Let me give you the UK as an example because they're monitoring several cases. They have 3 suspected cases right now that they're monitoring. One is in a hospital in Johannesburg. One is a hospital in the Netherlands. One is on an island, a remote island in the Atlantic. And then they're dealing...
Wait a second, so the British people aren't in the UK? Okay.
With several other Britons who are on board that ship. They're speaking with Spanish authorities about providing specialist flights in order to evacuate them. And then once they arrive here in the UK, they're going to be asked to isolate for 45 days. But this is a mammoth operation and a very complex mission.
It certainly is, Salma Abdelaziz. Thank you so much.
So it takes like a month to show symptoms. They're doing 45-day quarantines on these people.
They're not really real quarantines though, are they? They're just sending them home and asking them to self-isolate. And if you've got one dickhead on there, he ain't gonna wait 45 days. He's gonna want to get to the shop and get his beers. He's gonna want to go see his weed guy. Get a smoke on. Let's go.
But it's a 50% chance that you'll die, so I feel like maybe it might be worth that little quarantine. Now, some Americans who actually got off that ship earlier are now starting to show symptoms back in the United States. So it's on the shores of the United States, this hantavirus.
Hey, good evening. We begin tonight with the deadly outbreak on that cruise ship half a world away, now sparking fears right here in the U.S. The outbreak is responsible for 3 deaths already, and now there's a global race to contain it, extending all the way to America. At least 7 passengers who were on that ship and departed before the outbreak was fully understood are now back here in these 5 states: Virginia, Georgia, Texas, Arizona, and California. Health departments in all those states who were on that ship.
Listen, if I was in the US, right now, I would be going to this state right here. Or this one. Or this one. Fuck that. I'd be going to this little island. No, fuck that. It's super close. Yeah, one of them 3 states. That's probably the safest places to be if you're in the US right now. Oh, fucking hell. It's not looking good, boys. It's not looking good.
And departed before the outbreak was fully understood are now back here in these 5 states: Virginia, Georgia, Texas, Arizona, and California. Health departments in all those states say those passengers are not showing any symptoms, but it's unclear how most of them are being monitored or if they're even being quarantined. And after that risky operation to evacuate the sick passengers...
Wait, why would they not be being quarantined? Are you saying that the Americans didn't put their people in isolation? They're just out. Hopefully not.
See everyone there wearing hazmat suits. We now know that many of those showing symptoms are in fact positive for the virus. And look at this. This is where many of the passengers traveled to after leaving the ship early. And
this is crazy, bro. This is literally like what film is it? It's like Planet of the Apes. Is it Planet of the Apes? Where it shows you how the virus spreads from the airport. This is that. Fucking hell.
We now know one flight attendant on one of those flights is showing possible symptoms tonight. We have 2 reports, starting with Danielle Hamamjian, where the ship is heading to in the Canary Islands off the coast of West Africa.
And the flight attendant caught it. So it's definitely spreading.
Tonight, as the ship at the center of the deadly hantavirus outbreak sails towards the Canary Islands, the World Health Organization confirming 5 of the 8 suspected cases have tested positive. The patients are being treated in...
That's the most annoying siren I've ever heard, bro. Where is that? In Spain? They need to update their sirens.
hospitals in the Netherlands, Switzerland, and South Africa. Experts want to reassure the public, though, the risk of infection is low.
This is not coronavirus. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic.
On board the ship,
Get up. I'm taking that seat. Who do you think you are? Look, my shelter's level 90, so I get whatever I want.
Board the ship, Dr. Want to reassure the public, though, the risk of infection is low.
This is not coronavirus. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic.
On board the ship, Dr.
I hope not, because it sounds worse. So only yesterday were the remaining passengers on that ship allowed to disembark. And while public health officials, they're still telling people not to panic, some experts are warning that maybe we should panic.
Today, for the first time, passengers started evacuating the cruise ship at the center of the deadly hantavirus outbreak, which has killed at least 3 people on board. The ship docked in the Canary Islands earlier, where a medical tent was in place to receive passengers in what's expected to be a 2-day process. They'll then be flown back to their home countries on charter flights. The French Prime Minister said one of the 5 French passengers exhibited symptoms on their repatriation.
I don't understand this. So the actual sick people they sent back to their own countries, but the people that weren't sick they kept on the boat or in Spain for 2 days. I don't really understand that. Should they have not just kept everybody in the same place?
We're also learning that the 17 Americans on board will be observed at a medical center in Nebraska. And amid concerns of a continuing spread, Trump officials and health experts this morning worked to quell fears we could be heading into another COVID situation.
The key message I want to send to your audience is that this is not COVID. This is not going to lead to the kind of outbreak.
I do understand that this is not a respiratory disease, meaning it's very difficult, if impossible, to pass through coughing or breathing. It's very rare to see it transmitted between humans.
And joining us now is Joseph Allen.
I mean, it's slightly concerning that they're saying this shit because it's normally the opposite that's true. It's normally the opposite of what they're saying that's true, and they're saying that it's not going to spread. There's nothing to worry about. Normally when they say it's nothing to worry about, you should start shitting yourself. I mean, with COVID, it was the opposite. They was like, you need to worry about this. This is the opposite. They're saying, nah, you don't need to worry about this, which is concerning.
Professor of Exposure Assessment Science at Harvard University. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us this evening. You had the chance to speak with a doctor who was on that ship. I'm wondering if you can bring us into that conversation and what it helped you understand about the transmission of this disease.
Yeah, sure. And thanks for having me on. And let me just take a step back and say why I contacted this doctor and why we spoke. I've seen a lot of the official messaging come out, and some of the messaging I just
I mean, it's still crazy to me that someone predicted this back in 2022. I need to see what else they've predicted. I think they said there was only 4 posts. I think this was the only prediction. But I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna do a reaction video to some future predictions, and we'll see if any of them come true later. But let's get straight back into this for now.
heard there is incorrect, and I can talk about this in a minute. But the messaging I've heard from CDC and others is that this requires prolonged close contact. Now, when I go read the literature about prior outbreaks of this virus, not on a ship, it is very clear we've had transmission that happened very rapidly and did not require close contact. So I wanted to kind of double check myself. So I reached out to this doctor. We were on a Pro TV program earlier in the week together, and I asked him, what is actually happening on the ship, and where am I off, or where are other people off in this messaging? And he confirmed to me something really important, and that's messaging has not broken through. This is what he experienced as he related to me. Yes, as the first patients were sick and being treated, there was close contact with the treating physician on board and several other staff who were helping that person. Those people got sick. In fact, the ship's doctor got removed from the ship. This other passenger, who happened to be a doctor, then stepped in to start to treat patients. as he relayed to me, the other people who got sick after that, many who have been removed from the hospital, did not have what he called close contact. They shared time in the dining room or in the lecture room on this ship, but they were not in close physical contact. So I find the official messaging contradicted by what we know from previous outbreaks and is published in the literature and what I was told about the experience on the ship.
So you're telling me I can straighten my teeth in as little as 4 to 6 months from just £38?
Experience on the ship.
So what do you think is...
Maybe that does mean that there was a rat on the ship. And that maybe the rat was on the ship and it started shitting on the food, and that's why people in the cafeteria got sick.
The most...
And so look, I got a couple more links. This one basically is saying that there are now 11 cases tied to the cruise ship and 3 dead. So this is the update from just an hour ago.
There are now 11 confirmed cases from the Hantavirus outbreak on that cruise ship, which has killed 3 people now. And the World Health Organization says all the infected are either passengers or crew from the MV Hondius. In the meantime, at least 29 Americans who are on the ship are under monitoring across multiple U.S. states. 16 of them are in a special facility in Nebraska, including Jake Rosemarin. He spoke to NBC today about his life under quarantine.
So look, right, these guys, they're putting them in quarantine, they're locking them up, it's a whole scary stuff, okay?
I do not have the virus. I'm well, I have no symptoms, I feel good, and I'm in good spirits right now. Yesterday, I kind of was just taking the time.
Is it just me, or does his voice sound a bit croaky?
To speak to friends and family and let them know that I was okay.
So look, he's saying he's feeling good, all right, give him a month. But on top of that, they're also saying it's made its way to California. Apparently there are 4 Californians that have been exposed to the hantavirus. Apparently there is a case being monitored in Santa Clara County, all right?
It is good, boys.
Getting pretty bad. Okay, I'll watch one more of these, then I'll let you guys go and worry about this in peace.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to express my sympathy for the passengers and individuals connected to this situation. I can only imagine how hard this has been to experience for the passengers, others possibly exposed, and their loved ones. We appreciate the frustration that comes along with the monitoring and redirecting of travel, and we're thankful for their cooperation and support as we navigate this process to assure that the exposed individuals and others can be assessed and cared for appropriately while protecting their and the public's health. CDPH continues to closely coordinate with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and local public health officials, and we are now aware of 4 California residents who have been exposed to the Andes hantavirus related to the MV Hondius cruise ship.
So 4 Californians have been exposed to the virus. I can't do another pandemic, man. They're saying 50% chance that you'll die if you get this one. That is so terrifying. Look, we all went through a lot during COVID, man. It's been 6 years. 6 years since we was all put on lockdown, all right? We was locked down, we was locked up like Akon, and it was really tough, okay? And a lot of people didn't make it. And I really hope that as a society and as a world, we don't have to go through that again. We don't have to go through anything worse, even if it's not as bad and not as infectious as the coronavirus, man. They're talking about 45-day quarantines on those boats. It's very scary. So stay safe out there, people, man. Keep your hand sanitizers on you. You might want to rock a mask if you're going to be around a whole bunch of people, and just stay safe and be careful out there, okay? But look, that's it for me. It's pretty scary. All right, I don't go out much anyway, so hopefully I don't come across any of these fools that have been exposed to this hantavirus on that ship. But I ain't even gonna touch wood. We ain't going out like that, okay? I'm scared. Catch you guys next video, man. I'm out. Peace.
This is a sign to ditch the instant coffee.
That was crazy, man. Shout out to Trap Law Ross, Trap More Ross, and any other channels he's got. He's always putting out good content. Just check him out if you haven't checked him out before. Good luck to everybody, bro. Good luck. Stay safe. Fingers crossed this is just an isolated thing and it's not going to get too much serious, but who knows? Who knows? Listen, man, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If anything more comes out about this virus, I'll probably post a reaction video to someone talking about it, and then we'll see. So, yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.